everybody, and welcome to Cooking It Real. I'm Kathy. Let me ask you a question. What do your mornings look like? I mean your average weekday morning. Are you up at the crack of dawn with the birds? Are you hitting the snooze button as long as you can before you jump out of bed, throw on your clothes, and start heading out the door to get to work, to school, wherever you gotta go? Do you find yourself in the drive-through lane every morning? I mean, like every morning. Doesn't have to be the same drive-through, but you're driving through somewhere because you did not have anything to eat. And you know that by the time you get to your lunchtime, whether it's your work lunch, your school lunch, whatever the span of time between your non-existent breakfast and your I can't wait till lunch, there's a chance you might get kind of hangry in that period of time, and nobody wants that. Think of the amount of time you spend in the drive-through lane, just waiting. You finally get up to the microphone and you get your order. And what are you ordering? Are you ordering a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit? Are you ordering a giant cinnamon roll? Are these things really good for you? Oh, every once in a while, maybe you can have those, but they're not something you should be doing on the daily. You know it, I know it. I've got a couple of really quick and easy grab and go breakfasts and or snacks that'd be good for you, your spouse, your roommate, your kids, your mom, your dad, anybody in your house. You make these, you'll have them on hand. You can grab them and head out the door. No more waiting in the drive-through lane. Think of the time you'll save. What can you do at that time? Let's think. Oh, maybe you could sleep a little bit longer. Maybe. Maybe you could do a little exercise. Maybe you could watch a cooking video. Or maybe you're not going anywhere. Maybe you're a mom, you got a bunch of toddlers in the house, or even just one. Can seem like a bunch on certain days. And you think, when is the last time I had any breakfast? And if you're grabbing a Pop-Tart, that's not enough to keep a busy mom going. Let me give you a couple of really great ideas that are going to save you time. They're going to save you lots of money. And most important of all, in my opinion, you're going to eat way better with these two recipes I'm going to bring you. So skip the drive-through, try these. The first thing I'm going to show you is a muffin, a carrot quinoa muffin. Now you might say, okay, muffins, sometimes I pick up a muffin. I go to Dunkin' or wherever and Starbucks pick up a muffin. No. This is a muffin that is a meal, okay? It is protein packed. It has lots of fiber, lots of vitamins. It still tastes good, and you're going to love it. These are my ingredients to make 12 muffins. I have a blend of all-purpose flour and whole wheat flour, 1 cup of each. I have some cooked and cooled quinoa, and I'm going to show you how to make that in just a minute. I've got brown sugar. I've got some shredded carrot, some raisins. I have 1 egg, a little bit of buttermilk, yogurt. Let's see, I have some neutral oil. This is vegetable oil. You can use canola oil, avocado, coconut, whatever you have, and a little bit of vanilla. And for my seasonings, I have salt, baking powder, ground ginger, and cinnamon. Let's put it together. In a small saucepan, put 1½ cups of water and turn it on high. Add 3/4 cup of rinsed and drained quinoa and bring this to a boil. Once it's boiling, cook uncovered until all the liquid is absorbed, between 10 and 15 minutes. But you don't want to just go by timer. You want to go by what you see. You see there's still a little bit of water in there. You see that? We're very close though. I wouldn't walk away. You don't want to accidentally scorch your quinoa. I'm going to say we're almost done here. Just a few drops left. In fact, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to put the lid on, and we're going to let it sit for 5 minutes. Oh, very good. Nice and fluffy. Now we're going to let that cool. Feel free to make the quinoa ahead of time, and you can keep it in the fridge until you're ready. All right, let's start with our wet ingredients. I have a half a cup plus 2 tablespoons of buttermilk. And actually I didn't have any buttermilk, so this is half and half. Half a cup plus 2 tablespoons with a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And that makes buttermilk. Can you see how thick and buttermilky that is? All right, that's one thing. I have 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt, plain. I've got 1 large egg. Let's see, here's my little whisk I'm going to use. I hope this is a big enough cup to get all this whisked up. So let's start this before I put the oil in. Now I want 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is all typical, kind of typical muffin type stuff. And this is going to be more like, think of a carrot cake, a breakfast carrot cake. It's going to be sweet and delicious and filled with goodness. All right, that's good. And now I have 3 tablespoons of that neutral oil. Pour that right in. Give that a mixy mix. All right, I'll set that aside for just a minute. Now my dry ingredients. Like I said, I have 50-50 all-purpose flour and whole wheat flour. You can use all white flour if you want. You can use some white, a little bit of wheat, a little more wheat, whatever your favorite flours are, just so long as it's 2 cups of flour. Now I'm going to add my seasonings. I have 3/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. I have 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. I have 1 teaspoon of ground ginger and 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. You can add another flavoring if you want to add like a little allspice or clove or something like that. That's totally up to you. But this is what we're going with today. Everybody into the pool. La-da. And I'm just going to give that a quick mix to kind of mix the 2 kinds of flours together a little bit and get all those seasonings incorporated. Now we're going to add our quinoa and our sugar. Okay, what I told you in that video was 3/4 of a cup of uncooked quinoa to make 1.5 cups. Well, it made about 2 cups. So you're going to have a little bit of quinoa left over if you do exactly how I showed you how to do it. So what I suggest is you use, rather than 3/4 of a cup of dried quinoa, use a half a cup of dried quinoa and 1 cup of water. The ratio will always be 1 part grain to 2 parts liquid. And also you can use a mix of quinoa. You can use white quinoa mixed with red. If you have it, you can use all red, or if you have all white, you can use all white. This is just going to make a different colored muffin because all I had was red with just a little bit of white mixed in. And this is 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar, and in it goes. Now quinoa, if you don't know, is a complete protein. So that is what is going to give you like uber nutrition in this muffin. Okay, I mean, the buttermilk, the yogurt, the egg, that's all protein. But this quinoa is a really great, complete protein. That's what makes this more of a meal. But you can also, it makes a perfect snack. And if you have, if you're sending kids off to school or to camp or, daycare or whatever, and they're the kind that like you pack them a sandwich and you pack them a snack, and they they don't always eat the sandwich, make them these kind of muffins. And at least you know they're getting their protein in. If they balk at the sandwich, they're getting it from the muffin. I forgot to mention, before you get started mixing everything together, make sure you preheat your oven to 350 degrees and get you a muffin tin that you can either lightly spray with cooking spray. That's what I did today. Or if you want, you can use the paper cups, the little cupcake cups, and just put one in each, and then you can put your muffin batter in that. All right, time for the wet stuff. Give it one more little mix. Pour that in. I mean, this is so simple. And this is something you can do way ahead. These muffins will keep, they'll keep on the counter easily for the day. They'll keep in the refrigerator for 3 to 5 days. They'll keep in the refrigerator for, the freezer for like 3 months. So you can make a big batch and have them on hand for whenever you need them. If they're frozen, you can either defrost them overnight, or you could take out like, if you're going to have one every morning for yourself, just take out like 5 on Sunday night and put them in the refrigerator, and they'll defrost overnight and they'll be ready for you in the morning. And then they'll keep all week in the fridge. Okay. Mixy, mixy. All right, now we're going to add our carrots, and I'm adding raisins. Now you could add raisins, you could add nuts, you could add cranberries, dried fruit, dried apricots, whatever you like, really. I think raisins go good with the carrots. I think nuts would go good with the carrots. I'm just not using nuts today, but you do you. This is 1 cup of carrots and 1/2 cup of raisins. And in we go. Give this another mix. This is looking, it's looking a tiny bit dry. Like it just needs a few drops of something. But I'm just gonna make sure that I get all my flour off the bottom. Now you could do this in a mixer very easily. But it's just as easy to do by hand. Yeah. Oh, that's looking good. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine. Okay, I'm going to get a spoon. I think I'll use that spoon that I mixed the buttermilk with rather than dirty up another dish. We're going to fill these up about 2/3 full. I might have to go back and add a little more. Okay, who else needs some? You. And you.
These are obviously more than 2/3 full. I would actually say they are full. But don't worry, it turns out great.
I think I got enough to make maybe 3 or 4 more muffins, but I'll just wait till these come out and then I'll just stick a few more in. Does that look even to you? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, this guy. All right, so we're going to put these in the oven at 350 and we're going to bake them for 25 to 28 minutes or so. Every oven is different. We've talked about this before, but when they're done, I'll show you what they look like. Another great grab and go recipe also uses a muffin pan. It's called egg muffins or a mini frittata. And what we're going to do is we're going to get some delicious veggies, some bacon, a little bit of cheese, and we're going to pour some whipped up eggs into it, bake it in an oven, and you're going to have your own little mini egg frittatas. These things can be grabbed and taken on the go. They can be packed in a lunch. They can be kept in the fridge for a week. They can be frozen for months, and they are super delicious and very good for you. Now I have a 12-cup muffin tin, and I also have the rimmed baking sheet underneath. That's because we're going to make a small little kind of water bath to cook these egg muffins in, and that will help the muffins not to shrivel up while they're baking. Now, today I am going to use butter to butter my muffin tins. You can use cooking spray if you want, but I find for me, I like the taste of the butter. So I'm just going to take a piece of paper towel and some softened butter, and I'm just going to go roundy roundy all around and just make sure that there's plenty of butter in here. That's going to keep the eggs from sticking. It's also going to add a little protein, and it's also going to, let me put this so you don't hear it rattling. And it's also going to add flavor. Now, you don't want to be stingy with the butter, but you want to make sure that you get butter all over. Can you see? It looks like varying degrees of butter. But the most important part that you want to get is the where the bottom starts to go up the sides. So long as there's a nice good amount of butter on the bottom and on that, you're probably going to be just fine. It gets overwhelming. That's what it is. It's not hard to make your own breakfast or to have things ready for yourself, but it's just a habit that you need to get into. And if you can do something that's small like this, that you can do in advance and have, you don't have to do it like every single night in advance. You can do it like once a week, once a month, and just make a bunch and just have them in the fridge and frozen and just ready to grab. And that's the whole idea about grab and go. All right, see that? That's what we're going for. All right, now, what are we going to put in them? I did some of my chopping in advance while you weren't looking. And what I came up with, I have here a red bell pepper that I chopped up into, diced up really. I've got a couple of green onions that I've chopped up. I've got a little bit of grated carrot left over from the carrot muffins that I'm going to use. Normally I would use spinach also, but I don't have any spinach today, but I do have Swiss chard from the garden. So I got just a couple of leaves of Swiss chard, and I'm just gonna chop that up and use that. I have some sharp cheddar cheese and some crumbled bacon. For these 12 muffins, you need about 10 or 11 eggs. So every muffin basically gets just about an egg. It really depends on the size of your eggs. So if you have a dozen eggs, you're definitely going to get a dozen muffins, probably more. So what I like to do is I'm going to mix my eggs up in a four cup, 1 quart measure, just so I can pour it to make it a little bit easier to put into the muffin tins. So I'm going to do like maybe 5 or 6 eggs at a time. All right, that's 6. Mix those up. You can use one of those blenders or a immersion blender or fork, but you want to get them really kind of mixed up so they're pourable. And you also want to season them a little bit. So for half the amount of eggs, I'm going to use about half a teaspoon of salt and about 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. You do you. Okay, now here's the fun part about these little egg muffins or mini frittatas. This is how you make them your own. Get all the things your family loves. Let's do it. Start with the heaviest things first. I'm going to give everybody a little bit of the red pepper. You can use orange pepper, yellow pepper, green pepper, no pepper, hot pepper, blazing hot pepper. You know, like I say, you do you. You know what your peeps like. You know what they want. I like a lot of different things in mine. If you just want to do just plain eggs, salt and pepper, great. Eggs with cheese, just eggs and cheese, fine. Eggs, cheese, and bacon, awesome. You know, whatever floats your boat, whatever you think you like or your people like. You do you. Or you can like make some one way and make some another way, just so you're not having the same thing all the time. All right, now a little bit of green onions everybody gets. Come on now. Once we put the eggs in, we're going to have some floaters, so not to worry. That's normal. I don't think I'm going to have enough greens for everybody, but that's fine. Now, you can use different kinds of cheeses, whatever kind of cheese your family likes or you like. You can use like sharp cheddar, what I'm using. You can use a mild cheddar. You can use like a pepper jack. You can use feta. Or you can mix the cheeses. Make a mix. I'm going to make sure everybody gets some cheese. Yeah, whoever didn't get any greens is definitely going to get more bacon. Now, as far as the bacon goes, you don't have to do bacon. You could leave it out. You could use cooked sausage. The thing about it is the bacon, the sausage, whatever it is, has to be cooked. You could take like salami, chop some of that up and put in it. Now let's see how far our 6 eggs are going to go. Now this is not the best spout for pouring in the world, but we'll see. And just pour it in, just let it kind of settle. Gets in all the nooks and crannies. We can go back and fill in. And while I have you mesmerized here, let me invite you to give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video, if you're getting something out of it, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to top these off a little bit more. And also, leave me a comment and let me know what you'd like to see. You want to see more of something, less of something? Just let me know. I love your feedback. I love to see the comments. All right, now I'm going to add, let's see how many I got here, 4. I'm going to add 4 more eggs. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 6 eggs to make 5. So I got 4. I'm going to add 3 more eggs and see how we do. All right, you step aside here for a moment. And that's another thing. If you want something that is excellent nutrition and a great value, eggs. Eggs, eggs, eggs. There was a brief period of time when their prices started to go up and up, but they're back down to being reasonable now. And, oop, that one broke. Broke in the carton. So, only get a half an egg there. So that's like 3.5 eggs. That's a googly mess. But now, at your local supermarket, you can usually find eggs for a good price. And, if you really want to go all in for the nutritional win, go to your farmer's market or Amish store or whatever you got locally that might have fresh eggs and see if you can't get some of that. That's the good stuff. All right, I don't know how many I have now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, this is 7, but one of them is only half. So that's like 6.5 eggs. Let's see how this does us. I'm going to need some more seasoning. Another half teaspoon of salt. Another pinch of pepper. If you like, you can put herbs in here. Onion powder, garlic powder, Worcestershire sauce, if that's something that you like in eggs. Herbs, basil, whatever you like. Hot sauce. A lot of people like hot sauce with their eggs. Did I mention that these eggs can be frozen too? They can be frozen for a couple of months. They can sit in the fridge for a week. Same as with the muffins. If you freeze them, you want to defrost them overnight in the fridge, and then they'll be ready to go in the morning. And you could reheat them. You could pop them in the microwave for a few seconds. You can heat them up in the air fryer. If you're taking them to work, you don't even have to heat them up, you know. I mean, how many times have you gone and gotten your egg McMuffin or bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit or whatever it is to bring it to work, or you have to hop on the train, the subway, and by the time you get to eat it, it's not hot. So you do what you got to do. But I'm telling you, sometimes a little bit of preparation ahead of time can make a huge difference in your day-to-day operations. Oh boy, this one's a little light on the goodies, so it's going to get a little more egg. Oh my gosh, it looks like I need just like one more egg. For real? Just one? I think I'm going to go with two, because I think I can stand to put a little more here and there. So let's try two. So that was all together, let's see, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15, so really 14 and a half. Also, I should have showed you before I did it, but these are kind of big muffin cups. As far as the width of them, they're a little bit wider. The ones that I baked the carrot cake muffins in seem very much smaller to me. So, depends on the size of your cups. Now, if you don't have muffin pans, but you have those silicone pans, that works good. That works good for this too. Or, if you don't have muffin cups at all, but you have like a 9x13 pan, like a baking pan, lasagna pan, or casserole dish, you just butter it up and you cook it all like a whole thing. And then you can cut it. You can cut it into serving sizes, and that works just as well. All right, I'm going to make these 2 eggs work. Just going to Ooh. All right. Now these also go into a 350-degree oven. They're going to cook for like 20 to 25 minutes. But before we put them in the oven, we're going to put some water in this sheet pan to make like a little water bath. And we want about a 1/4 cup of water. Now this is something that you have to be very careful of as far as walking with a pan that has water in it. You don't want to splash or anything like that. So, it might behoove you to bring this over to the stove, sit it by the stove, and put the water in, and then just put it right in the oven so you don't have very far to go. And same with when you're taking it out. But I'm going to do this way just so I can show you. There's 1 cup of water. And that's almost, I just need about a 1/2 cup. Okay, so 1.5 cups water. These muffins have cooled in the pan. Look at that. Don't they look great? So I'm going to take them and put them on a rack and let them cool completely. Now these are just lifting out so beautifully. If you had a little bit of stickage, just take a butter knife, run it around the edge, and it should be coming out no problem. Let me see. Can I show you a close-up? You see this beautiful muffin? Ooh, yes, perfect. Once they've cooled absolutely completely, they're ready for storage in the fridge or wrapped and put into the freezer. You just put them in a Ziploc bag. That'll work just fine. Love it. Beautiful. Okay, that's 25 minutes. I can tell it's going to need just a few minutes more. I think I'll give it 5. Got to be very careful because of that hot water. All right. Now this time I'm going to use a knife to test. Let's see. It feels a little wet. Look at the edge. Yeah, I think these are done. Okay, so that was altogether like 28 minutes. I'm going to let these cool in the pan. I think I'm going to take them out of this water bath. Okay, these have cooled in the pan. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice and gentle. Take your time. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, baby. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. This one I already loosened. They're not easy to lift. Here we go. Look at that. Beautiful. So I have my 2 quinoa carrot muffins. I'm just going to call them carrot cake muffins. And here's my mini frittatas. Oh, don't they look good? Mmm. Everything's done. Look at how beautiful these are. I absolutely think they turned out perfectly, and I can't wait to taste them. Where shall I start? I think I'm going to start with the muffin. All right, let's see. Let's open this baby up, shall we? It's completely cooled now. I'm going to open this up. Ooh. That smells good. Look at that. Can you see that? Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to take a little bite. I want to get a raisin for sure. Moist. It's hearty. It's not airy. It's not like biting into like a something fluffy, but it's not. It's absolutely perfect. I love the texture of the quinoa in there. The little grains kind of give you a little pop. It's sweet. You could dial back the sugar if you want. I use 3/4 of a cup for this recipe. Oh, and by the way, I put the rest of the muffin batter in. I got 4 more muffins, so I got 16 altogether. Win-win. But you could definitely dial it back, especially if you or like your kids. I say your kids, but I know plenty of grown people who would grab a Pop-Tart for breakfast. You know who you are. And you want something a little bit sweet, that's the way to do it. Absolutely delicious. Highly recommend. Now, let me try one of these beautiful little mini frittatas. Now, these have come out of the oven. They've been out of the oven maybe 10 minutes or so. So they're still kind of warm. They're a little, just barely warm, but I'm just going to break one in half. Ooh, see if I can show you. Ooh, can you see that? Ooh, yes, beautiful. Take a bite of this. Mmm. Mmm. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that tastes like a breakfast. It's like an omelet. It's like an omelet in your hand. Give these a chance, okay? Make some ahead. See if it doesn't help you save time, money, and eat better. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time on Cooking It Real. Bye, friends.